Hey, how you doing? So welcome back to the channel. This is another reading for Capricorns. So hope you guys are doing good. Let's see what's going on with your reading. And don't forget to check out the information in your birth charts to make sure that any readings coming through this channel could possibly resonate with you, and whatever doesn't, then you leave it out. So let's move forward with your reading, Capricorns. So what's going on with the Capricorns? Capricorns. What's going on with the Capricorns? Right, it does say that you've got very good news about things that you like. Certainly want to know that you see everything from a perspective of having good news. Doesn't say that you should always have bad news though, Capricorn, because sometimes you do. Doesn't always say that you have got good news, but you do have good news today. And it doesn't always say that you've got brave energy to come out and harm people either, but you do at this time. And sometimes you may have bad news, or warn yourself, don't have bad news with them. Just try not to have bad news as you speak to yourself today and see if you've got greater ideas than before. It says you will study your minds and look at yourself and say, I've got better news. Warn myself to have spoken about myself many times and said, no, I didn't have bad news before, and now I do. I let my feelings show at times when I don't want to have good news, because I said I need to see why people are bothered. Then I asked them questions and contouring my mind to see if I could ever have blamed anyone to have great news or problems with their mind, to say that they have bad news instead of me, because I don't like knowing that it's me that has problems. As you wish, it says, Capricorn, because now people think you've got problems with your mind. Doesn't say that you do, as you told yourself you don't, but many people think that you have bad news with your mind. Ideally, it doesn't always show, but it does say people want to speak about it or keep their minds to themselves about it and not want to show you that they know you've got bad news. So people could be thinking those things about you, even though you may not want to be um, the bearer of bad news to yourself, if that makes sense. You don't want to tell yourself, well, my perspective is of knowing that, I've got bad news. In your mind, it's like, no, I ain't got bad news. In some other people's minds, it's like, well, yes, you do. It could be personality flaws. It could just be things that, are happening that you participated in, to show that there could be bad news towards the other person that feels that you do. Give them some type of reason to believe that you know, you're negative in some way towards them or towards a situation. Or even the type of mindset that you may have is what they could be judging, you know. So it's just silent information though. It's not someone directly speaking this out loud to you. Okay, so it says, I see you. At times I want to know, are you okay? As you keep quiet, I want to know, are you okay? And it could be that you keep looking at someone or a group of people wondering if they're okay. It could be someone that's looking at you in that way too. Doesn't say that they all want to come rushing in, but they do want to see if you're okay though. And mainly because you want to speak to someone, friend or frenemy or enemy or family or foe or people or even PDs are in your head at this time, where you feel like problems could be there with a man that looks at me way too much. And I don't like it. Okay, protect your children at this point, because you don't want people looking at your kids like that. They're PDs. And I keep hearing this come out a lot of late in some of the readings. Okay, so just be careful of any kind of pedophiles or PDs. Um, you know, it doesn't say that pervert energy is going to follow you, but at this time, people could be looking at you like they're perving on you. Sometimes the word can be misconstrued, only because you could be an adult, they could be an adult, but they could be perving on you in a way that you just don't like them always. Like, I don't know, maybe this person's giving you some type of indirect sexual harassment or direct sexual harassment. It does say that some of you are going through this. Okay, so doesn't say anyone is going to burden you more than that, though. You have problem solving to do with people that are perving on you, maybe even wondering where are you, what are you doing, and how are you doing. Sometimes they want to look forward to you seeing that you don't have good news, or you do, but it doesn't say ideally anything could happen bad, but everything in a way could happen in a positive way and leave you having good news all the days of your life or never again. Okay, so it does say that sometimes people get on your nerves with this idea that they have to have good news with you being mad. Doesn't always say that it's going to be like that all the days of your life, but you have to change your mindset at times and see that blessings can come and change your pathway. So let's see what else is going on. Mostly when you see that you've got good news, you can cancel out bad news. You can make sure you break the female energy in you or mental health male energy in you. Even around you, people will see that you've got problems when you do this, though. Because sometimes you use spells or curses, or maybe even things inside you that say, I don't want this, and it works out just fine for you, warning you that you have spells riddled inside your DNA, or maybe even inside your body, mind, or spirit that can harm people's well being. You have to practice good karma. Sometimes people don't understand who you are, Capricorn, as many of them think it is related to spiritual cleansing that you may need, or maybe even mental health things that you said you have inside you but don't want to cure. Maybe it is things that someone says are not yet revealed. People are picking on mean men inside of your mindset and don't understand why they're picking on them, because you don't pick on them, and it does say that you don't want to, but you don't always have to, because now you realize you have beginning and ending inside of you, like someone said Scorpio has, and don't know how to support it, but you use it in a way that is staying in the way that you like, just there, never changing. No one is going anywhere. It says you like to know people are stuck in the mind and maybe in a problem, but it doesn't ever get probably a good rep inside you to solve the problem, because you don't know what to do with it. Or maybe if you do, you can't solve it on your own. And then you may not believe, or deep down inside, you may believe and understand sometimes it works, but then you may not believe. So you always keep things there, keep it there, and it doesn't get resolved. So it does say pick on enemies, pick on them. And it doesn't always look good for you, Capricorn, because people feel like you've got issues because you're keeping things there. It says people say you've got problems when you keep picking on people through not changing. If you don't change, you don't want to see a problem solved, and you don't resolve problems very well. It says you've got to move on. Now you've understood the assignment. People have to move on from the problem. You are not letting them go to move on from a problem when they're always staying there with you. Many of them have bad news. Trying to be your friend is not going to be easy at times, because they see that they're all there as your friend or your frenemy, and not understanding why you don't look at them in a way that you can solve problems. You may not look at people in a way that you can give them good news. So it does make you look bad at this time, because understanding you is never easy, but when they do, they realize you are nasty. You keep people in a riddle or in a problem or in a trap, and it doesn't make them feel kind to you. After they warned themselves, I needed to see what was going on. Now I'm awoke to this. I realize you are keeping me there like a very bad mood. And it doesn't say it's going to be easy to deal with this. It says people have to try and riddle their ways out of it and wonder if they can come back from this in a way that they're going to be with you or without you in the later on weeks, months, or years. As people feel trapped by your spells or your mental health that doesn't see anything wrong. You never see a problem. You never want to deal with things as a problem, and it gives people gentle health problems or nasty warlock envy negative problems that don't always come out of it. It says we have to deal with this problem with Capricorns because Capricorns do not see who they are, demonizing people in their mind and selling their souls to bad news, at times wondering if they are the demons inside them. At times, you all say that you see problems inside yourselves but can't come out of it and don't know how. It says, we know now we have to try and pick on you to get rid of the bad moods in you because it's not going to be easy to deal with it. And we don't want to know that it's going to happen, but we want to know that you can move on past a problem and see that it can happen in a way that spells will never be the answer, as you do brew energy that's going to come out in a planetary curse that can harm people through spells riddled in other things that come out through universal laws that you may understand or you may not understand, because your curses are inside of the body, the mind, the spirit, and the universe. You have karma with this. Many don't understand you, Capricorn, but some do. As astrologers and pedophiles and even mental health people may understand, or some people with wisdom, knowledge, and gratitude to have good news may understand you too. But not everybody that's normal. So it does say that you've got to witness things in your mind that you may not understand, but at times it comes out in a way that you may pick on your mind and never want to solve the problem. So it's going to move on in June or even August, sometime soon, because this month is also a time for it to happen. But you've got to wake up and see that you are trying to push away the bad moods and the bad news. And anything that's going to be negative, you've got to move on from it or push it away. Okay? So you have to learn how to transform and push certain energies away, especially negative, things. But it also comes with a perspective. Do you understand whether or not it is negative? And that's where karma comes now. Because as the universe is trying to show you, do you understand if it is negative or not? It does say sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So when you warn yourself, you get this news from the universe or friends or family members or foes, you've got to try and warn yourself to move on from it, or move on from it in a way that you have dealt with it, looked into it, scrutinized, attacked it, and dealt with it, but not harming people. Try not to harm them. Try to move on from it in a way that you're giving them good news. And not everyone's going to get good news, Capricorn, so choose wisely. Who's getting good news and who's not? And why is that? Where's the issue coming from? Where's the burdens coming from? Practical energies are there to solve your problems. With mean men there, it's not going to be easy, but Sagittarius may help you. And it does say sometimes even Aquarius may help you, but Scorpio has all the answers to give you enough energy to move past it as they deal with things like death, endings, and virtually inside you is Scorpio energy right now, or even around you today. So it says you've got to transform. Change is upon us because of you. Yeah. I do see that Capricorn's energy has a big influence on us this year. It may have had it for some years, but it definitely has a big influence on us this year. And it does say, Capricorn, you do know you are the demon energy inside a lot of Capricorns or many friends around you in other star signs, including Scorpio, Virgo, Sagittarius, even the legal mental health team that deals with things at times, evil police, or even forces of evil in the army, or maybe even in the courtrooms, anywhere where there is authority. It says you have power over these people, and you may not see it, but you have to. Sorry, there's some type of tractor or something going by. Yeah, you do not see it, but it says you have to warn yourself to look and follow instructions this month, because it's not going to be easy seeing that people get hurt, because you have to see that they get good karma and not bad news. And warning signs are there for people to get good news, and it hasn't been happening for a long time. So you may be the change that they need to get bad news. As you're warning yourself to keep things there, it doesn't want you to. It has to move on. It has to let go. It has to behave and say, I know I shouldn't be here. I need to move on. So you've got to see that you are releasing negative news, like in a way that, things that are being held onto and tortured need to be let go, set free, um, especially if they don't deserve to have that negative news, especially if it's causing more of an issue or more of a problem amongst peers, friends, or even enemies in certain perspectives. You know, it has to be looked at very carefully and resolved and moved on. All right. So, anything else for Capricorns? Karma is with someone that's going to speak a lot about things in a bad way. Warning, are you there? I'm ready to tell you off. Karma is with this woman. It says no one is there giving karma more than you, Capricorn. At times, someone says they need you to stop picking on someone. And even when this woman says she can't stop picking on this person, too, she keeps picking on the person that she should have never given you to ha. She says, I know I'm ha-haring with this because I laugh. I made fun of my own family member and I made her feel bad. And she's really picking on this family member and using your energy to do so. It does say this person never wanted you to harm the person and realized that she did. She always wants this to happen and she freaking forgives herself never, but never wants to know that she isn't, because she has time to think about the troubles that she's given herself over the years trying to make things better, and it never made things better at all. It says she keeps provoking you with a family member and she keeps doing it until the justice comes out of her brain about who she is. It says she knows she's a demon inside herself. Ideally wants to say she's a user of drugs, and she also says the person that she used to pick on was a user of these same drugs, but it also made her worse. It says it never made her a good woman, but it also means that she has that perspective to help the person and never give herself that gift of information. She keeps laughing and hiding herself, keeps playing with the information and lying, keeps toiling with the information and trying to panic and say it's not the truth. And then she keeps practicing bad mood spells on you and many of you around you and with you as she picks on you now with her spells. She gave herself time to look at spells, very much so wants to practice them, and warns herself if she ever gives herself spells, she's going to spell out the name in her head and start picking on it. And then she realized she's picked on a lot for this, as she picks on someone around her, and mainly a female child. Mental health person is what she calls them, and doesn't know how to stop picking on this person. And she knows that she always wants to know it's this childish behavior she uses to pick on the female child. She says, I know this daughter I have will never have a good life. I made sure she would never have one, and I warn myself to keep doing this. I've given myself time to think, did I ever give her good news? I laughed at her. I made fun of her and I told her she'd never have a good life. And the woman inside her will never be good to her. She's always using this against the child, but she never thought the child would have good news. She never thought the girl in her had good news in herself, and she used that energy to pick on her own child, her own daughter, her demon as she calls it, because she likes knowing this spiritual energy is in her that is tidying its mind at times to give herself good news, but warning herself to give herself very demonic bad news to see that she, sorry, we've got lots of tractors going by, to see that she's got to have negative karma in herself constantly, and it keeps pulling at her and targeting her and making her feel bad. This woman says she's tired of it. Warning, a woman. It's not a child anymore. It's a grown ass woman, and she says she's tired of it. She knows that her mum never laughed at her so much in all her life. She realized her mother is liberty taking on her, and never ending legal matters pending will karmically come to her parent one day if she's not careful. It says, I know that because I've dealt with things in my mental health, and I lied to myself at times about who done what. And maybe even when I lied and picked on myself, I never saw that I was going to see myself in a bad way. I thought I'd always have good news. Then I laughed at myself too much one day when I realized someone wanted to harm me. And I never wanted to harm my child. I never. I just always knew that if I was going to be there in my head, I should never be there in my head alone. And I realized I should never have targeted my child to be harmed too. And even if I left this planet, I would never want him to be there with me again. I would never want to know that he is harmed. He's always going to be my value system. And I pray today that he is dead in the mind of any bad news, so that I warn myself good karma can come to me over the years. I love myself and I see myself in a good way, and I will never ever harm my child. So let demons carry their own mental health away from me and have better news for my days to come. And I know this because I love myself, and that is her child that's saying this. So it looks like they've really gone through something that could have been a life and death situation. And it doesn't say that this person's had a good life overall with their parent that has some connections to you, Capricorn, harming them. Okay. It does say that this person never wants you to believe that you have bad news overall. As you've tried to warn yourself, you can move on from the problem, and you've seen that. You don't have to stay there in it. You just have to move on. You don't have to use yourself in your mind to say, I am used by this woman that doesn't love me, care for me, or want me to be well, to have great news overall in my mind, to take things. Ideally, clothes, shoes, money. I may have used someone to take over and over a mindset to help myself, and it never came in a good way. I used people to get things, and I realized that as you try to warn yourself that you never wanted to give yourself good things in your mind the way you thought you could have it. Like, I could just buy it when I want to. I have to work hard for this. And it does say you do work hard for things, Capricorn, but you may use people at times in a bad way to get things too. And it does say that sometimes it's going to be you all that feel like you've got karma with this. Maybe somewhere in your life you may have used someone or something to get your way, to have good news. And maybe even in ways that you never had to borrow time in your mind to think, am I stealing from them? Because I haven't asked them for a penny. At times it's not money that is the answer. It could be the mind. It could be their value system, their morals, their ha-ha moments when they smell or when they look funny, and you've used that mindset to target them and pick on them, or maybe even played along with their mental health and harmed them. It says you always want to use people's mental health to take the time to look better than them or make them look worse than you, and harm them through the mental health to see that you are blaming nobody but you, to say that you have good news, and then say that you don't say it to them directly. You just notice that you pick on them indirectly, and then it harms them spiritually. It can harm people like that. It says you may have harmed them very much so in a spiritual level. On the mindset of yours is seal deal. No one needs to know. Seal the deal, it says, because you may not understand everything. And it says sometimes you may understand, sometimes you won't. But seal deal means that you've got to come out of this. Collect your mind and tell yourself you can't take on this burden anymore. You have to remove yourself. And maybe you have to remove yourself from the mindset that it's only going to get worse. It says you've got to understand people will tell you things and move on from the problem, but they don't want to know that you know that they are a problem. They're going to target you again one day, and they're going to steal your mindset again. Evil Capricorn, they said. They don't want to take you down, but they have to if you keep picking on them with your mindset, because they keep picking on you with your mindset, and then they feel like they don't like you. At times they said they don't like you, and they realize they have to pick on you again and again. At times they realize they don't want to like you all the time, but they have to at times when they feel like you're okay, or you're just a friend, or maybe in a way that they see it's not too bad. But this time they said they're picking on you because you can't understand something that they're doing, and they don't want to use your spells or your riddles to pick on you, because they could use things to make you feel like you've got hurt, like it backfired on you. But it doesn't say that they're going to do it. They just want to pick on you this time for something that you did, and maybe even move on from the problem. You've got to come with us, it says. Maybe in a jail cell or in a bad room. Maybe even in a problem or even down a well, or maybe just get further and further into a bad news. It says, we know that we want you to, but we're not always going to be there to help you. Now, do you want this problem for yourself, or are you going to move past it? It says, you know that you have problems and you're going to deal with it always, but you can move on past the problems and leave yourself to have greater news. Okay. I keep picking up some energy about a smell. I don't know if some of you are going through something where you are dealing with someone that has a particular odor, or you can smell something, funny around you, but I keep picking up energy about a smell. Okay. It says someone here has karma with their mind and maybe even has problems with their BO or even their arms. It says, I know I perspirate a lot when I'm going down. I may have problems with my underneath too. It says a woman around you keeps playing along with this, and she knows she's got bad moods with you talking about it. Maybe even saying that she's got problems with her hygiene. She doesn't like it, but she keeps saying that you will say it again one day and they will hear it. It says they don't know how to speak about it all the time, but they realize that you do tell a lot about what it is that you see or hear when you are going on and on about things. It says no one knows why you need to speak about it with them, but they're going to hear one day that they have that problem on their own, or even see that they've got it when they look at themselves. They just don't understand how you know so much. And this man says he knows that you will never understand him. He has problems with himself, but he also knows he's got karma with you, lying that he's got problems, because he knows he can be taken care of. Whereas this female, she don't know how to take care of the problem. She knows that she's got problems in her mindset and always picks on it. And then she thinks, well, how do I get rid of the problem if I'm always looking at people to tell me that I've got problems? Then I realize I've got to pick on them because I'm harming myself. People keep picking on people wherever you go. And it does say that you go through a lot of problems all the time, mainly because I don't want to hear that I've got problems. Evil mental health people around you say they've got problems. But it says, I know that I don't want to have problems. Panic if you feel like you ain't got problems. It does say, I don't want to have problems. So some of you may have problems speaking about it and some of you don't. All this time, Capricorn, you may feel like a problem is never solved because someone's got problems around you and you feel like talking about it and saying a lot about the situation, and you keep telling the person off. You keep telling them off. Mind you, it could be that you are speaking to them directly or mentally or spiritually, and someone keeps provoking you and telling you how to say things. And end of it says, I know I keep doing this all the time. Witchcraft is something I keep showing you I can do and make you speak about things all the time. I want you to talk about it though. And it doesn't say why this person wants you to talk about it. They just know that they can't speak about you constantly all the time having problems. They just know that they have to move on past the problem and leave you to it. Stress-free life. Make you feel like you have a stress-free life and not have bad news because they've warned you. You could be picked on many times over in your mind or through your mental health and need therapy. But they're going to witness things in their brain and have therapy too. And they will wonder why they have karma with you, because you never needed to go through any witnesses that will go down with you in your mind. You could have done that on your own through life's curses if you needed to. But the truth is that people are picking on you and your mum or your dad or a parent around you. And family members could be doing this directly to your family, like your parents. Like other family members could be doing it to your mum, your dad, or other females in your love life that you know that you would love to have as a friend or a female familiar friend, like a personal problem you have sometimes, which is not to call someone your girlfriend, but a vagina is what you like to call them, some of you, as you may use people for this. At times you may not want to know that they are good to you. These female friends are there, or maybe even foes. Sometimes you may want to have sex even sporadically, or sometimes just because you want to have love making sessions or sexual energy, passionate nights. But you may not always see that good news comes to you, and you have to warn yourself. If you see yourself in a better way, you're going to see that you have good news to move on from the problem so that you can have great news overall. With the timing spent alone, you'll have better news one day. Okay. Whew, that's a lot, Capricorn. Okay, anything else for the Capricorn before we Move on. Says, I know I'm not going to allow you to see me. I've been there, I've done that, and I warned you. I'm not talking to you. I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing, and I leave myself to wonder, do you ever see me at times? Because I want you to, but I don't. And I could hear myself say the same thing again and again and again and again. I just don't want you to see me. So Capricorn, you don't want to be seen, okay? You want to be hidden. And it does say you keep looking at things from a perspective of, I don't want to know that I am seen. So I pray to God people don't look at me and see that I am the problem. And it does say you keep looking at that in a way that you keep hiding yourself. But people need to understand that they know they're going through things, so they want to look and understand or study you. And it doesn't say it's easy at times to hide, but they just know that they can't deal with things alone when it's too much or too hard to bear. Sometimes they feel like they don't want to stress, but they have to understand where it's coming from. These demons that are attacking them, or things around you that are harming them. At times it's you, sometimes it's someone else around you in your community or in your network that you're very timed about or close to or very, very related to in some way, that is using mental health warlock energy on them, or curses or spells or riddles or even problems with them. It says, you know, you want to see who's going to give you good news or not give you good news, but you need to tell yourself that you're going to have good news to mentally give yourself good news. Marrying someone's not always easy, as they don't want to see that you've got good news at times, and maybe even harm you. And sometimes they will harm you and you will harm them. But the thing is, you've got to move past the problems that they give you, because they always want to see that you are bad mood. And you're going to see problems today or tomorrow if you're not careful, because they keep looking for bad news to give you. Warlock energy is with you. It does say, I know this because I'm legal. Legal matters pending for you. It does say, I know this. I want to know that people can pick on me so I can pick on you. And when my daughter tells me off, I'm going to pick on you. But I realize I'm not going to pick on you all the time. I'm going to pick on her too. I just got to realize when. And it does say that she's looking for a problem with you. Miss My Game, Mind Game. Okay, that could be wifey for some of you. And for some of you, it could be a friend, a foe, or someone that's closely related to you that has your back, or maybe even feels like they have your back, but in reality, they can riddle you and surprise you with many things that could harm you or even gift you. So just be
Diamond Tarot
careful.
viewers,
But it also says you
I
wouldn't care
see
unless you care.
abundance
So
coming
you've
in.
got
I
to
see
pretend that you
money
like
coming
them
in.
and
I
absolutely
see
like
good
them because
karma,
they're helping you
good
with something or
fortune
giving you
is on
something
its
to
way to
warn
you.
yourself you've got good
I see
news.
you've had to
So
make
this is where it goes
decisions,
wrong for you.
and
At times you are
ideas
fed from
have
the
come
same
about to
hand that's going
help
to
you
curse you.
take off
You
in
are
some
going to
type of
eat from the
area in your
devil,
life.
or you are
I
the
see
devil
new
giving someone
changes
a
coming
problem.
about.
And it
For some
doesn't
of
say
you
it's
that
going to
are
look good
looking
on you.
forward to
At
blessed
times you may
energy
see that you have
in
got yourself
regards
into a
to
problem with your
news that
mind,
you'll be
or maybe
getting,
even seeing that
things
you've
that
got
you have
yourself in a problem with the
manifested,
demons.
or
At
even
times you've got
feeling
to
like you're
change the
putting in the
outcome
work in
and see that you
areas
are
of your
blessed,
career,
and see that you
in
are
areas
stressing
of your
about things no
studies,
more.
in areas
Suddenly you will
that you
dress
may
up and see that you've
prosper
got good news and
in
go out and have
financial
fun.
gains, even
It
if
says
that's
some of you are
purchasing
going
a
to
new
go out and
home
enjoy
or
yourself and eat and
vehicle,
drink and be merry.
or even
At times
a
you may
person
witness that
coming
you've got good
along
karma with your
and
work and your
helping you
money
to
and
gain what
studying
it
these
is you
things.
need.
At
I
this time
also
you do
see
have so
somebody
much
wants to
great things
gift you
going for
something
yourself,
and a lover.
and some of you may not. But at times you have to look forward to things that are going to change your mind about it, as the universe wants you to know that you have to change. Pay attention to this, because this is important information. It says people are not going to pick on you anymore if you change. So stop targeting them with your mind about being there to change and not changing, as the universe is following you and attacking you right now to make sure that you change about something that you are doing, and making sure that you warn yourself to let go of the demons that are harassing you and other people around you, as it does pick on you, and many of them. And it picks on you, and you warn yourself. You don't want to speak about it or tell them that it's happening, because you know it is, but you just don't want to talk about it. But you realize it has to be said or has to be let go of, as you hold on too tightly to the problem. So leave it to God to understand that they will rip it away from you one day if you don't listen. And it may leave you feeling dismantled, or even laughed at, or even hurt. So you've got to let go before the universe tries to harm you to try and get it away from you, as you do hold on way too much. This universe is going to spin round in the next week or two and tell you you've got to let go of something, or else by the next month ahead it's going to harm you. So look forward to May coming in with a bang, or even looking forward to another week or month coming in with a problem. It does say that you've got to look forward to May, because May is going to be a time when you're going to be harmed more than any other time, but you'll have chances to get rid of this thing before then and still see that you've got better news. And then if you don't, you're going to get harmed before then. Even in June, July, August, September, October, November, December of this year, you may have been hurt, but you're going to get hurt again if you're not careful. So it says keep moving on from the problem and let go. Ideally, let go, or else trouble is on its way. And you've got to move on past the evil inside your mind or in other people's minds that are hard of hearing and keeping you holding on to the same old toil and terror in your brain, or keeping you held down to a problem that is never solved. So, my lovelies, that is a warning from God. I will speak to you in your next reading. Ciao for now, and have a good day.